Professor Dr. Gubad Ibadoglu is a professor, a very well recognized professor from Azerbaijan. He should be professor at the university in Dresden just now. He's someone who is credible, who will work for the best of his own country, it's Azerbaijan. But unfortunately, he's imprisoned for nothing, just for speaking the truth, for speaking about the situation in Azerbaijan around corruption in the political sphere. And he is not alone. There are more than 200. I stopped to count them because it looks like that every day, every week, we have more and more political prisoners. He's one of political prisoners in Azerbaijan. It's a shame that in this year, in this organization, we have a member country with political prisoners. We are before an election, and everybody knows the result of the election already, on the 17th and the 7th of February. We know the result of the election. These elections don't fulfill the minimum criteria of democratic elections, and the one before were the same, and before and before and before, it's always the same. But this is problematic enough. But it's not the reason to challenge the credential of the delegation of Azerbaijan. We challenge the credentials because the delegation of Azerbaijan is responsible for cooperation with this parliamentary assembly. We just do our job, and the job is in the rules. We appoint rapporteurs. We decide about reports. We need free access to the member country. We have the obligation to send an election observation mission. The country has the obligation to invite us, and the obligation is the obligation from the parliament represented by the delegation in this parliamentary assembly. And the more problematic is that Azerbaijan tried to play us against other international organizations, against the OSCE. 2015, we were invited because it was a corrupted, and we have the proof about it, election observation mission from this organization. The OSCE was prevented to come. Now they invite the OSCE, and they don't want to have the Council of Europe with an election observation mission. If we let this happen, we open the box of the Pandora. And then it's not just about Azerbaijan. We have a responsibility to 46, 45 other member countries as well. When a country can decide which observation they like, from which organization they like an observation mission, which rapporteur they like, which report they like, and they choose one or another, this ends to nowhere. If we let it happen with Azerbaijan, and it happens more and more and more, then at the end it will happen with all the member countries. So we have an obligation towards the democratic situation of human rights and rule of law in Azerbaijan, but for the whole organization. Because of this, I ask you to support the report from Morgan Jansen.